What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be discussing this Detroit Lions offense from week 3 against the Arizona Cardinals, okay? What went right for this offense? What went wrong? What did I see on the field that maybe surprised me? We're going to be breaking it all down. So let's get it started.
No, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here. And as you can hear the excitement in my voice, man, I'm still loving that we won this football game. So I just got done watching the offense against this team. Sorry, I was just checking some. I just got done watching the offense against the Arizona Cardinals. We did a defensive video yesterday, and I was like, yes, let's hop right into this. I don't know if you'll see this before or after the report card video, but either way, I just got done watching the offense, so I'm going to get right into it. Just some of my takeaways from this offensive performance, some things that I saw, what went well, what didn't go so well, what maybe the Lions could improve upon, because we know it was a good day, just not a great day. It felt like a good offensive performance, just not a great one. There was just a couple of things that they would have had to do, a couple of things they would have had to finish off, drives to finish off, that would have put that in a great category, but unfortunately, it's in the good to very good category. So let's just break it down. We're going to first start off with my observations. Let's just get right into it. This will probably be much shorter than my defensive one because, hey, the defensive one was really breaking it down. This one may be a little bit shorter. I just have a little bit less takeaways here. First off, observation. Daryl Bevell early was very creative with things. Daryl Bevell was mixing in a lot of creative plays, especially Jamal Agnew, end arounds. They're trying to get him out there on some reverse screens. I mean, they're trying to be pretty creative with it. Also, I thought Daryl Bevell did an incredible job of scheming some plays open. I think he opened up a lot of things, especially on drives that, like the first drive, right? You know what you're going to get. So Jesse James got really involved. The guy I don't even think had a target in his first 2 games. He said this all season that he talked to Jesse James and said he wants him to be a bigger part of this offense, and he was. And James came through. So it wasn't like we were just throwing it to him. He came through. Jesse James was good. He could have had 2 touchdowns maybe if Stafford throws a better pass there. But either way, he was getting Jesse James involved. He was trying to get Jamal Agnew involved. And I like some of the creativity that we saw earlier. That sort of went away in the second half a little bit. But I also think that the game plan and strategy changed up a little bit when it came to the second half. Adrian Peterson. Okay, the Lions tried to run the football a lot in this game. Okay, we saw the Lions ran the ball a lot. But it was only to one guy mainly. It was just Adrian Peterson. And to me personally, Adrian Peterson got off to a very hot start. And like we talked about before, feed the hot hand. Whoever's rolling, give him the ball, let him just go. And I think the Lions saw that Adrian Peterson was the hot hand early. That kind of cooled off pretty darn quickly. And I don't know if another running back makes a huge difference here. Personally, I think Kerryon would have had a nice game in the second half if he gave more touches. But for Adrian Peterson specifically, run game just wasn't really there on the inside. And I think it was a mix between, not blocking very well. And they tried to scheme things up in the second half where they end up having to settle for a field goal. The Lions were scheming up things. Like Daryl Bevell's run plays, yes, they're all inside plays, but he was pulling guards, right? He was trying to move people out of the way to open up some holes and some creases. The thing with Adrian Peterson is he's just not the fastest running back that we have. He's not the most explosive and athletic running back that we have. However, he is probably the most reliable running back, and you know what you're going to get, right? The Lions, for years, didn't know what they were going to get to running back position. So I understand why you stuck with him. I completely get it. At the end of the day, you won the game, and you wanted to rock with the guy that you knew he was going to get the job done. I have no problems with that. Not at all. I have no problems with it. But I also would like to see Kerryon get more touches because he was just really explosive when he came into the field. He had a good start to against Green Bay. I think he should have had more touches here, but the Lions went with Adrian Peterson. Good thing is we won the football game. Peterson had a 27-yard carry to pretty much pop things off, but after that carry, he averaged 2.3 yards per carry on over 20 touches. That's not good. 2.3 yards per carry, that's not good. You can see the run game wasn't really that great against the Arizona Cardinals. But the Lions, I feel like personally, a lot of the reason they kept pounding the football is to, one, obviously set up the play action, especially later in the game, but two, take a lot of that pressure off Matthew Stafford. When you have to consistently respect that the offense can run the football, it doesn't mean they have to be the most successful, but that they will run the ball. All of a sudden, you can't just necessarily focus on getting to the quarterback, right? Because you have to watch for that. And that's where I think Kerryon could have been more explosive. I also would have liked to see Daryl Bevell mix in possibly some screens, maybe some draw plays in this game to kind of mess with the defense a little bit, but we didn't see much of that. It was pretty much just everything up the gut. So I think there was things that Daryl Bevell could have done here to be more creative with Adrian Peterson. I do understand why he pounded it so much with him, and he was trying to get that running game, going and try to keep it consistent and keep the defense guessing. But I do feel like the Detroit Lions offensively maybe could have been a little bit more creative with how they got him involved. But hey, you know what? Adrian Peterson made a good play out of the backfield on a little bit of a, what would you call it? A quick little screenplay maybe out of the backfield to Adrian Peterson. They made good there. But when Kerryon came in, he was just explosive. So I wish he would have had more touches. But one of the big problems with the Lions run game was the safety blitz. When the Cardinals would bring a safety blitz, it really was killing this run game for the Lions, because when you bring the safety blitz, especially from the backside, you know, your running back has to be able to hit a hole quick enough where that safety is really not involved in the play. If it's the offensive line is not getting good enough push, or the running back can't hit the hole quick enough, then all of a sudden the play is going to make the safety can make a play in the backfield. We saw that multiple times, either head on or from behind. So I think that was the problem here. And you know, I think it's definitely a mix of blame between the tight ends, who didn't block extremely well, between the running back, maybe that wasn't the most explosive, but we kind of knew that coming in, and also a little bit of the offensive line, maybe not creating enough holes there. So I think it was a mix of everything. And you know, overall the Lions just need to improve upon that. They just need to be better with their assignments when it comes to blocking tight ends and offensive linemen. One thing that I did notice is that, you know, Darrell Bevell was definitely a little aggressive in today's game. He did go for it on a 4th and 1. You know, he didn't decide to just take the field goal early. He went for it on 4th and 1. They had a great spot to have the football, and he didn't want to settle and take the field goal. I respect that. I respect that he went for it. If he didn't get it, obviously, you know, it hurt, but I also would understand why he still went for it. But again, this is a great design. This is one of those plays that Jesse James, where he got him open. You know, they did the pick play, but they did a very good job of disguising it, where it didn't really look that egregious, right? You got Kerryon Johnson kind of just sitting over the middle, but it really didn't look that bad. So it wasn't called, and we ended up getting a touchdown on that, which was great. Now, one thing I did notice about a lot of these 3rd and goals, because a lot of people were saying, well, Lions need to finish off drives. And yes, I agree with you. One thing I did notice is that a lot of 3rd and goals were pretty long. I mean, they weren't inside the 5. They were past the 5-yard line. So it was a lot of positions where the Lions really didn't have a threat of running the ball. 3rd and goal from the 6 or further back, you really have no threat of rushing the football at that point. So now the defense can kind of just play in the end zone, knowing that you have to throw the ball, which really does hurt offensively. And I think that was one of the big problems. A couple of times we saw Matthew Stafford get sacked on 3rd and goal, because there's really no threat of rushing the football when you're in that spot. So the Lions needed to pick up more yards on their 1st and 2nd down, from the goal line. And that would have been better if they could have run the ball better. The struggles on the ground definitely hurt, because it wasn't able to put them in a better position on 3rd and goal to run, you know, a play extra bootleg. You can't do that from the 7-yard line, right? Because no one's going to fall. Oh yeah, you're going to run the ball? Like, no, we know you're not running the football. So I think that was difficult. Also allowed, you know, them to time up some, you know, pressure on Matthew Stafford, getting some mismatches on that offensive line with some linebackers. And I think that's why we saw some tough there. Matthew Stafford, you know, he did miss that pass. We saw him miss the pass to Jesse James. Like I said, the next pass to Amendola, he didn't miss that pass. I don't know why people are saying he missed it. He didn't miss it. Amendola's like 5'9", and there was really nowhere else he could put the ball. If he puts it too close, the defender's just going to pick it. You can't, you know, really put that in any other spot, and there was no one else open on the field. So he did miss the pass to Jesse James, no doubt. It would be nice to see the Lions convert more in the goal when you're inside the red zone, but I think a lot of it's the first couple plays. I mean, everybody focuses on that final play, the 3rd play, but really it's about the first couple, getting it closer, making it so there's a threat that you can run the ball, because again, there was no threat when the Detroit Lions were inside the 10 that they were going to run the ball on 3rd and goal, because I mean, they couldn't from that far away, and that was a huge problem for this offense. So those are just a couple of observations that I had. Now let's talk about the good and the bad from this offensive performance. We're always going to start off with the good first. Kerryon Johnson. This guy has been one of the best pass blocking running backs in the league. PFF's FC is the best pass blocking running back. I think one time, you know, he kind of got beat, but it was by a defensive tackle. Like, that shouldn't happen. It was a missed assignment on the offensive line, which we'll touch on in a second. But for Kerryon Johnson, when he's asked to, this guy will pick up a rusher. He's not afraid to take the boom. He's not afraid to have a little bit of a chop block and get out. For Kerryon Johnson, he's been very good pass blocking. That's been his calling card. And also, he made a nice play out of the backfield when it comes to receiving. That's why I think Kerryon should be more involved in the run game, especially, you know, if maybe Adrian Peterson is, you know, maybe struggling a little bit. Because Kerryon's a guy that he's the one running back that I think personally that we have that we can put out there and he can do everything. Because I feel like with Swift, he's kind of out there. You're pretty much nowhere passing the ball. We really don't run to him that often. And his pass blocking is a little bit questionable. That was the same thing kind of with Jason Huntley. Adrian Peterson, his pass block is pretty questionable as well. And even catching on the backfield, you don't do it a ton. It's just, you know, short routes. But I feel like with Kerryon, you can get a mix, right? You can kind of line him up as a receiver. We've seen that. He can run the ball and he can block well. So I think Kerryon's the best all-around running back that we have, and that's why I like to see him get more touches. Wide receivers were obviously outstanding in this game, and I think it was more than just catching the football. It was more than just, hey, Kenny Golladay made a great grab here. Yes, he did. But I think it was deeper than that. It was, one, knowing the time. Marvin Jones Jr. makes a grab, stays in bounds, and runs basically the clock down. That's huge, all right? Getting the first downs. One play early, Kenny Golladay didn't get far enough. He should have got further there, should have got more depth. That way, when we caught that football as a first down, that forced us into a fourth down. Ultimately, we did score, but, you got to be a little bit further. You got to make sure you get further down the field there. So that was one problem that we did have. But also blocking. Pass blocking, they were big. Run blocking, they were big. They were making some big blocks here. And they're big receivers. I mean, they're not little dudes. And we know we don't bring in receivers that can't block. So that's really, really helped us. I think the receivers as a whole were just very good in this game. 2-minute drill before halftime was great. The Lions did that to perfection. And after last week against Green Bay, where, yeah, let's say going into half, coming out of half, they didn't do so well. They didn't really play that out very well. However, in this game, that 2-minute drill was very impressive. The 2-minute drill was impressive by Matthew Stafford. It kind of just dot him down the field. I mean, and he got different players involved. One time it's Hawkinson, next time it's Swift, then it's Kenny Golladay, right? You're getting everybody involved on this 2-minute drive, and you don't even settle for a field goal. You go down and score a touchdown, and I think that's where you see Kenny Galladay's presence, right? The guy that can go up and get it. That size just makes it such a tough mismatch because there aren't many teams that have cornerbacks that can match up with both Marvin and Golladay when it comes to size. So usually, at least one of the two are going to have a size advantage. Usually, Golladay has a size advantage no matter what. So for Kenny Golladay, you throw it up there, you allow him to high point it, and he goes and makes the touchdown. I mean, that 2-minute drive was very impressive, and it changed the complete outlook of the game going into half. Instead of being down by 3, all of a sudden you're up by 4, and you just feel a lot different. Matthew Stafford was incredible today. Like I said, he recognized blitzes. He was doing a great job before the play. He was reading things. If a blitz was coming, he would get the ball quickly. He would throw it further where the pressure is. And, sometimes like DeAndre Swift, for example, didn't see the football because he didn't turn around. But Matthew Stafford was really good. Stafford was throwing some very accurate passes. Some people will watch the game and say, oh, that's behind him. No, he's literally trying to do that because he can't lead a guy in his own defense because the defender is sitting there to pick that off. Stafford was really good today. Very, very good. I feel like Matthew Stafford had his best game by far, and he was just the most efficient that we've seen him. He should have had a touchdown to Marvin Hall. We know the flag was kind of whack, but either way, it set up perfectly for us, but that was the dotties of dots. That was his best throw so far this season. It's no question. Stafford bounced back. I told you guys he would have his best game so far. He did have his best game so far. Maybe didn't get as many passing attempts as I thought he would, but again, it played into the Lions' favor because their game plan was to pound the ball, set up some play action, keep the pressure off of Stafford, and ultimately control the clock, and they did it. They did it to perfection. So I don't care how it looks, how it happens, as long as the Lions win, but Matthew Stafford, when he had opportunities today in Sunday's game, was really, really good for the Lions. 270 passing yards. It isn't that bad. It's really not. Tight ends. I feel like the tight ends did really well when it came to receiving. T.J. Hockenson, Jesse James. Finally getting Jesse James involved like a touchdown, and Hockenson was obviously T.J. Hockenson. Now, some of the bad. Okay, here we go. Big V and pass blocking. Yeah, Big V struggled here. Now, I do gotta, kind of like not go too off on Big V here because I get it. This is probably not his natural position. I mean, he's played it before. I'm not gonna get you wrong here. He's played every position on the offensive line other than the center position, I believe. So he's played here before, and it doesn't excuse that he played this bad. Yes, this is his debut, so maybe it's a little bit of a slow start, which he did get off to a slow start. However, he did make some mistakes earlier and later in the game as well. He also had some tough matchups. It's gonna be difficult, and I don't think this is a long-term option. I don't think this is what the Lions want to do long-term, is have him start at guard, unless maybe they do. I don't think it is, though. I think what they're waiting to do is when Joe Dahl gets back healthy, they'll put Joe Dahl back at left guard. They're going to put Big V at right tackle, and Crosby will go to the bench, and at right guard will be back Jonah Jackson. But since Joe Dahl is on IR, what they decided to do is just take O'Day out of the game because O'Day used to play left guard, and they put Jonah there. Shout out to Jonah Jackson. I mean, that's incredible. To move over to that spot in an NFL game and do what you did on the field, that was incredible. Shout out to Jonah Jackson, man. He went out there. He has balled so far. He has been incredible. Shout out to Jonah Jackson, man. This guy's a rookie, and he made it look seamless, right? He couldn't even tell. He allowed 0 pressures, right? I mean, this guy was great. And honestly, hey, Big V, you paid him a lot of money. That's what you would have liked to see out of Big V. But again, it was a season debut, so I'm not going to go too off on him. But I don't think this is the long-term option for the Lions. I think Big V will be pushed back to tackle. Jonah will get back to right guard. And when Dahl's healthy, he'll go back to left guard. And potentially Stenberg is the future there. And, that's probably how to look out. But for now, even for the next couple of weeks, because Dahl is on IR, we're probably going to see a similar look offensively. So hopefully, Big V can get comfortable there and figure that thing out because he has to be better. There's no doubt he has to be better. Inside running with AP, yeah, like I said, it wasn't great. Okay, the Detroit Lions literally averaged 2.3 yards per carry after that first big play. Running inside with Adrian Peterson just struggled, but we already touched on that, so I won't get into that one again. Tight ends blocking. Yeah, this was not good. Hockenson was brought in as the 8th pick because he could block and catch. He didn't do that well today. Jesse James also missed some assignments when it came to run blocking and pass blocking, and that's a big problem. I think that's another big reason that maybe some holes weren't open up and they weren't able to attack the outside as well is because your tight ends have to be able to block, and they didn't do a great job of that today. Again, it's a tough assignment. There's no doubt. They have some good pass rushers, right? You have Kennard, you have, Chandler Jones. You have some good rushers. but they just didn't do great today in blocking. And, you know, in receiving they did, but when it came to blocking, they weren't great. Also, flags, okay, not as many. It wasn't as, you know, backbreaking, but there still was some major flags, which if Matthew Stafford and some of these offense players didn't come through, it could have made this game a lot worse because we did have some pretty timely flags. We had flags on third downs that backed us up, right? We had one on 3rd and 6 when we were moving the football on the first drive, put us at 3rd and 11. Good thing is Stafford threw a great pass to Marvin Jones. We kept the drive alive, but that's a flag you can't have. The flag on the touchdown is a flag you can't have because when you have that, who knows if we moved the ball on the field? Yes, it worked out in the time. We're glad it did, but it could end up not working out. And all of a sudden, maybe the Lions don't score there, and it could have been a touchdown. So certain flags are killers, especially on third downs. Like, you just can't have those. And that came from, you know, really across the board, offensive line and tight ends. You know, you just can't have flags on big downs. I mean, flags in general hurt, but on third downs especially, you know, especially when you need to get points, you know, in big situations, flags can be a game killer. So that's something that, again, we just have to keep continuing to clean up. And I think it's gotten better, which is good. I mean, there's some progress here. It just has to continue to get even better. To me, Kerryon Johnson needs more touches. I touched on it. Kerryon had to get the ball more. And I think that's one thing that if I said, Bevel, hey, what could you have done better? I like to see Kerryon more involved. Sure, I like to see Swift get more involved, but I felt like for the game plan, I get why he wasn't that involved. I get it. I 100% do. No problem with him not getting a lot of touches because it was to pound the football. I would have liked to see Kerryon get more chances there. But again, it did work out at the end of the day, so I can't question him too much because, hey, we won the football game and they trusted in the hot hand. They trusted in Adrian Peterson. And that's what you bring in a veteran for, right? Frank Ragnow, Big V. There was some struggles on the right side of the offensive line, missing assignments. Left side was pretty darn good. Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, they held their own. Right tackle, Crosby, really didn't hear his name. It was kind of the right guard and center that had some mistakes there. And then tight ends, like I said, they had 2 flags. So those are just things that you can't have. Overall, the offense, I feel like, was good, maybe even very good. And Stafford was very good. The problem is they just weren't great. And it's just little things. I think it's just little things that they need to just clean up. And it's mainly just scoring in the red zone. Because if they put up a couple touchdowns in the red zone, it's a completely different game. This game probably isn't that close. But I think it does start with the first 2 downs. I know everybody's going to say, well, he missed a pass. You can't miss passes. He missed 1 pass. I get it. But again, you can't have your first 2 plays, or you can't be in a position where your 3rd and goal is from the 6 or further back because you're no threat to run the ball. You make sure those first 2 plays are more successful. If that means maybe not running the football in the first 2 plays, then so be it, right? Pass the ball more. If that means, hey, you know what? Maybe we should, have better run plays. Of course, you should have better run plays. And maybe I like to see a little bit more of the 2-minute drill, like the 2-minute drill type of offense where Matthew Stafford's out there and he's just dotting it up. Again, I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to keep the pressure off him. But man, when you watch him play those 2-minute drills, it's just like, why can't we do this all game? I get why you can't do it all game, but it is fun to watch, no doubt. So overall, offense was good. Just not great. And there's just a couple little things that they need to clean up, but they're on the verge. I mean, we've seen the talent with Kenny Golladay out there. He made a huge difference. This offense can be incredible. It really can be. I mean, this could be a really good threat. The defense plays like it did anywhere near that for the rest of the weeks of the season. This team can win a lot of football games. The offense just needs to clean some things up, be a little bit more consistent, and we have a really good team on our hands. But it's all there. It's all there. We just got to clean up. Good thing is we got the win. Now we need to go do it against New Orleans. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out. You kidding me right now? I had to put my helmet on for this one. Are you kidding? Look at this. Look at all these members. What? Yo, hey, shout out to all the members, man. Look how many All-Pro members there are. Like, literally, it's the whole screen, dog. This is crazy. The patrons, of course, the Hall of Fame members, man. Y'all got the gold color. It's kind of yellow, but it's supposed to be gold. Shout out to all the members, man. If you want to be a part of this, all you got to do is join the channel. But there are perks that come with it. Stay locked in the community tab if you are a member because that's where a lot of information comes out. I appreciate all of you. What?